Okay, so this is a video about Bubbles, our new software, and this is the home page. These videos are going to be different. This video right here is how to install Bubbles. This video is the video that I'm doing right now. These are just temporary, but you'll have the videos for Bubbles here, home page. You can click this button to view all the updates that we've made to the plugin. That's the home page, and basically Bubbles, there are two things you need to do to get your Bubbles working. Two main things. First, you need to go to right here, Manage Bubbles. Now, on the Manage Bubble page, we can create bubbles, we can delete bubbles, and we can also edit bubbles. So I'm going to go ahead and create one. So the name of the bubble, we'll call this My Bubble. Product name. Now, product name is how it's going to find the buyers of this product or the downloaders of this product. So I'll show you in a second what that means, but for now we're just going to call this my product. If what you were doing was selling a squeeze page or a website, you would put the name of the squeeze page or website. Or if it was a download link for your free audiobook, you would put the name of your audiobook right here. Now we have page post name. This is saying what page or post, pages right here, posts right here on WordPress, on your WordPress site, do you want the bubble to appear on? You can only do one page and post per bubble, but you can only have one bubble per page or post, but you can have as many bubbles as you want, so long as each one gets its own page. And I already have a post right here that I want bubbles to go on. It's called test post. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to copy the title. And to show you what it looks like over here in the editor, that would be this thing, the title of the post. Right here, it's the same as right there. This will look different. This is my theme, but this will look the same for you as it does with me. The title of your post. Pop that in here, and it can be a page or a post. You can create a new page, and it would just be the same thing, the title. So, text type. Just bought or just downloaded. The way the bubble works is it says the name of the buyer. We'll say example buyer, and then it's going to either say just bought or just downloaded, whichever one you choose, and then it's going to say the product name we defined up here. And if they have a quote, which I'll show you about when we look at the managed buyers, it will then add in their quote. If not, it will leave that empty. Text color. The text color right here, this defines the color of the just bought, just downloaded text and the quote for your bubble. The highlighted text color defines the color of the text for the product name and the buyer name. And I'll show you all that in a second when we get an actual live bubble. For now, I'm going to just make it easy. Text color black. And you see we have a nice color picker here. And the highlighted color, we're just going to say red, just to make it easy. Background type. There are 3 different background types, and there are also 3 different border types. Background is the background of the bubble. The border is the border around the bubble. Basic for both of these means just a flat color, a plain color that doesn't change throughout the entire bubble. So if you just click basic and set this to green, this would be the color of the bubble of the background of the bubble throughout the entire thing. And the same thing on the border. If you set the color here to kind of a medium purple, this is going to be the color of the border throughout the entire bubble with the basic. Now fluid is slightly different. A fluid background and a fluid border takes the first color And the second color, which we'll just make like red, and at the beginning of the bubble, it's going to be this green, and at the end of the bubble, it's going to be this red. And throughout the entire bubble, the background will be in the process of changing color. So it will be one transition. It won't flip-flop, but it will turn slowly from this green and end up at this red by the time the bubble's done. That's on fluid. Same thing works for the border. The first color is where it starts. We already have the purple. And the second color is where it ends. What color it's going to be when it ends. It starts at purple and it's going to go through a smooth transition to, let's say, a dark blue. That's fluid. Now flashy, for both the background and the border, is kind of like fluid. You need the second one as well. But basically what it will do is it will alternate between the first color and the second color. So like if I had red and black, it would flash red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black throughout the entire bubble. And the same thing with the border, it'll flash back and forth. Now I like the flashy for the borders. I prefer the basic flat colors for the background. One thing, if you choose basic, you don't need to worry about the second color. It doesn't do anything unless you have a fluid or the flashy. So I'm just going to make a white background by going to the first color, selecting white. So now my background for the bubble is going to be white. And just to show you customized color, it's going to be a little, maybe like a little off-white or something. It's more like gray. Okay, so it's going to be gray. And it's going to be basic, so it's just going to be one solid color throughout the entire bubble, and the border is going to be a flashy red and black. It's going to flash red, it's going to flash black, it's going to flash red, it's going to flash black. Now, that's mainly all the colors. We go down some, we have the sizing, the padding. The size is the general size of the bubble. Normal, small, medium, large. Now, it's not going to be an exact size. It depends on the size of the user's screen. If they're gonna be on a phone, it's gonna look slightly different than if they're on a desktop. Bubbles is mobile friendly, so you don't have to worry about that, but just know that it may look slightly different. The padding is how much space is there from the text in the bubble to the outside border. Basically, it's how thick, how much extra space is there in the bubble. This is the size, how big is the bubble, and this is how much extra space is in the bubble. I'm going to choose small and small for both of these. Just so you know, large is pretty large, so if you choose large and large, it will be fairly large. So always make sure to look at your bubble and make sure it's what you want. Position. Position, top left, top right, bottom right. Top left, up here. Bottom left, right here, top right, right here, and bottom right, right here. This defines where will your bubble pop in. Do you want them to be scrolling down the page using our example test post, and the bubble to appear up in here in the top left corner, or down here, or up here, or over here? So you can choose any one of the four corners of the page for your bubble to pop out on. I'm going to leave it at top left right now. Effects, fade in, fade out. If you click this, now these aren't radios, you can click as many or as little as you want of these. Fade in, fade out, basically the bubble will appear to fade into the screen instead of just sliding in. And instead of just sliding out, it will appear to fade out. Jiggle, the bubble will come into the screen, it will jiggle a little bit, and then it will go away. So this adds a jiggle motion during the midway point in the bubble. It's not too much. It's a kind of a subtle jiggle. Rounded corners makes the corners of the bubble more rounded rather than sharp. If you can see like the difference, I don't know if you can see it from here, but the difference of this corner on this pop-up actually, and the difference of this corner on the blue bar, this is a lot sharper than that one. That's because this one is rounded, and the bumble's going to behave like that. It'll have a rounded corner. Spin in, spin out works kind of like fade in, fade out, except the bubble will spin in. It'll go 360 in, and then it will 360 out. So it adds a spinning in and a spinning out motion. And a shadow just adds a little shadow to the bubble to give it kind of a 3D appearance. Like I said, you can use any of these or none of these at the same time. I'm going to do this to show you the fading in, the jiggle, and the shadow. Animation time. Okay, so fast, 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 medium, 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 slow, slow, slow. This is animation time, time to start, and time between bubbles. The first thing I wanted to say before I explain what each of these are is that these times are randomized. So even if I was to take the slowest time on all of these, there is a chance that everything could happen very fast. Excluding the animation time, actually, I'm sorry. The time to start and the time between bubbles, there is a chance that even if I click slow, it will go fast. Because what this does is it generates a random number. The time between bubbles is how many seconds do you want between bubbles. So if a bubble pops up and then it goes away, do you want a bubble to pretty much immediately pop up again and go away and pop up again? Or do you want there to be some wait in between? Or do you want there to be long stretches of time without a bubble? And that's what the time between bubble does. But like I said, if you choose slow, it could go away and then come back immediately. Why? Because it's randomized to add that sense of really of the page being really active. Like it's not just all the bubble comes out, goes away, and then 5 seconds later another bubble comes out and then goes away. This way it adds a sense of realism. The time to start, the time between bubbles, like I said, is the bubble pops up, then it goes away. How fast do you want the next one to come up? And just to make sure I'm explaining this right, this time it defines a random number, and the faster it is, the more greater of a chance the bubble has to come out faster. And if you click medium, the bubble has a much greater chance of not coming out for a while. And if you click slow, the bubble has a very, very good chance of not appearing immediately after the one before it faded out. Animation time. This is a set time. This is how fast does the animation happen. So the bubble comes in. How long do you want the bubble to be on screen? If you want the bubble to come out, only be out there for a few seconds, go away, that's probably fast. If you want it to be there for a noticeable amount of time, medium. And if you want it there for a longer amount of time, click slow. None of these are above 20 seconds, so it's not going to be there forever. But that's what this is for. And time to start, this only happens once. This happens when you load the page with the bubble. How fast do you want the first bubble to come out? Because what you might want to do, you might want to have the bubble immediately appear right as the user loads the page, but then you might want to wait for another bubble, right? But you may want it to have that immediate bubble popping out. Or you may want the bubbles to be kind of rapid fire, one after another, but you want it to be, you want the first bubble to come out at its own pace, basically, after a while, not immediately. Then you can click slow. Time to start, just like time between bubbles, is randomized though, so even if you click slow, there's a chance that it could come out immediately as you load the page, and that's to add that sense of that it's not just all programmed, that it's real time. I'm going to do fast and medium. Alright, so now once we've filled out the bubble form, we click submit. And here we go. Here's our bubble. Now we can see right now we have a name for our bubble. That's the name of the bubble. This is what product, the product name, and this is for the post page name. This is the page it will appear on. Under edit, we have an edit bubble button, which you can click and it will bring up the edit button, the edit, pop-up. And all of the information we just filled out is here. So if you want to go back and change any of it, you can. So if you go and look at the bubble and think, I really wanted it to last longer, you can go to the animation time and click slow and up it from medium. Or if it's too long, you can go to fast. Then you just click submit and it will update the bubble for you. Right here's an input. Basically, if you have more than one bubble going down, and let's say you want to delete one, you click all the ones that you want to delete, and then you click delete. We're not going to do that because we need the bubble. Now, the second thing that you need is a buyer. So right here it says manage buyer. We're going to click that. And it has more buttons than bubbles, but fairly simple to use. We can add buyers in two ways: by manually inserting their name, product name, and their quote, or we can upload a CSV file. The CSV file will be separated into 3 columns. The first is the name of the buyer. The second is the name of the product. That's where the product comes in that we made on the bubble. This product name has to be the same as it was when you created the bubble. Otherwise, it won't know to bring in this buyer with this product. And the quote is the third, and it's optional. You can leave the quote blank if you're uploading a CSV file. It's just going to be, you're just going to leave the third column blank for that buyer. If you're going to do it manually, you just leave this input blank. So one other thing is you can't upload the same buyer twice with the same product. So if I was going to upload my name, Luke C, and we'll say the product name for the other one was what? It was my product. So if you're ever unsure, you just go for product right here under the bubble you want, copy this. Product name, quote, we'll add a quote, we'll just say this rocks, submit. Now I can't add me again, Luke C, with this product, but I can add the same buyer. So you can have the same buyer but just with a different product. So we'll say my download, and no quote for this one. So this one has a quote, this one does not have a quote. Once again, you can click these inputs right here and we can delete the selected buyers. If you want to remove all buyers, you can click delete all buyers. Now there is no way to retrieve the buyers, so be careful. If you want, you can download a CSV of customer data. Now what this is a CSV file, and what it does is it has the name of the person and the product name, and it should have the quote here. Apparently it doesn't. When you receive the software, we will have added in a third column with the quote. So that's the downloadable data from the customers. Now we have a customer, a buyer, with the product, and we have the bubble as well. Now we can go to the page, test post, which is right here. We can refresh it, and the bubble will appear. Just imagine that you're going down through the post, and there it is. Now, one thing I want to show you is that oops, we'll say Lee my product. Say whoa. Adding another user, another buyer. Now it will go through, which one will it do first? Will it do this guy or will it do this guy? Because they both have the same product, so they'll both appear on the test page, test post page, or whatever page post you want it to appear on. It will use them in random order. So if you had 50 different buyers, all for the same product, the chances of the user refreshing the page and ending up with the same buyer first is very slim. And once it goes through all of the buyers for a specific product, it will loop back through and start going through them all again. All right. So let's go to this test post now and refresh. See, this one popped out really fast, and it used Lee, not Luke, even though Luke theoretically is first. And it won't use Lee again until it's gone through all of them. So there's no chance of seeing Lee again until you see Luke, because that was the other buyer for that product. See, Luke just bought, and that's the jiggle, a little tasteful jiggle, then it'll fade back out. And there it goes, it looped back through. And notice the times that they come out, he came out a lot faster than the one before it, and this one seems to take longer. That's the randomization in the time. That way it looks real time, it looks like things are actually happening, it's not just programmed to go in and out, in and out, in and out. And see there, this one comes out, that's the longest one yet. And if you can see that red and black flashing, that's the flashing border. And see, he came out pretty fast. And that comes from the time to start, how fast do they come out of the gate, time between bubbles. This is medium, so if you click slow, a bubble could come out really fast, but chances are the bubbles are going to come out slower. Animation time, let's see, let's wait for a bubble to appear. If you ever want to force a bubble to appear just to see it, you can refresh the page. Animation time is how long was the bubble out here. So if you had a shorter amount of time, the bubble would go in and out faster than it just did. Once again, you can edit these. Let's say we don't like that background color. We want it to be, for some reason, a brown. Refresh. And here it is, edit. You can edit all of this. And the quote, let's add a buyer without a quote so you can see what happens. Add buyer will say, an F. Product name, my product, quote, no quote. She didn't leave a quote. So what happens with no quote? Let's refresh the page. Well, there you see she came out first, lucky us, but there's no quote. So it says Ann F just bought my product. But if you look at the next one that's going to come out, it's either going to be Lee or Luke, and he has a quote. It's in right here. This is the quote. It's put in double quotes, actually, and it's separated from the blah, 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 just blah, 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 blah by 3 dots. And I think that was Lee, so Luke would have to be next, since there are only 3. Oh, that was Luke. See the 3 dots? That's his quote. And then it will go back and start over. Now it can start over, and we'll see. And it starts over from the beginning. But if you refresh the page and do it over again, the first one could be different. So that's how to use bubbles, and you can make as many bubbles as you want. We can create another bubble, and we can actually have more. Can't have more than one. You can't have more than one bubble per page. Like I couldn't have two bubbles on this page. Couldn't have two bubbles coming in after each other on this page or post. But what we can do, we have this other page, test post 2. Actually, it's post. And we can make a second bubble. So this bubble was called my bubble. So we'll make my bubble 2 product name, and we can use the same product. So we can use the product more than once on more than one bubble. Post page. Now, if we click test post, if we click test post, and we go through this, I'll use just downloaded. We'll leave that the same. I'll show you a fluid background. So I'll keep the background basic and show you a fluid border. We'll leave it white for now. Border. Okay, just some weird green color and then a weird orange so you can see the transition. Bubble size, I'll show you no size, the smallest size with the largest padding. We'll do bottom right, so it should come out over here. Effects, spin in, spin out with rounded corners. Animation time, we'll leave this all fast. Submit. Now the post page must be unique, only one bubble per post page, so this has to be its own unique post or page. But we can do that, submit, and here we have a second bubble for this product, so my product, so it will use all of the ones with the product of my product, same as that one, the first one. We refresh the page, and there it is. And it gets cut off a little because of the camera, but it flies in. A ton of padding on this one. And even if you choose fast, it can have a longer period. See the border changing colors? Look, green, and it slowly goes to, rather than just green, orange, green, orange, green, orange, goes green, and then it goes to orange. To show you the manage bubbles, that's a little too much padding, I think. So we'll say small, we'll say none padding, and we'll say all large, the largest bubble. Let's see what that looks like. Also, the spin in, spin out effect. It does a spin in and it does a spin out. It's not the best though when the bubble is massive. So let's bring it down small and small. And we'll have a nicer background. But the text color. But you get the idea. The bubble will spin in, will spin out, and the last thing I wanted to show you is the rounded corners. Notice the corners when another one comes out. They're not harsh corners. See that corner right there? It's harsh. This, it's a smooth corner. That's what the rounded corners does. And that's Bubbles. I hope that you find it useful. If you need any support, please contact us through our support system. Make sure to tell us your feedback for the plugin. We appreciate feedback. And I said this at the beginning, but you can always go here to the home page. See this gray button right here, Update History. Click this and view all the updates. Right now it doesn't have any because it's brand new. So you can see what we're doing, see what we've changed. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.